Hello. Today we will talk about gerunds and infinitives. Our, we will divide our today's talk into two parts. At first, I will tell how I usually explain this topic to some elementary students. So how to make them understand and to make them think about gerunds and infinitives, especially about gerunds, because the only reaction, especially of teenage students, to this word is laughter. So let us start. Reminding that the first part, this part, is for elementary students and an attempt to explain to them something about gerunds and infinitives. So let's think. We have two verbs together. One verb and one more verb. How to connect them? How do we do it in Russian? And let's remember any example. For instance, я хочу спать. Everybody wants to sleep sometimes. So the same as in Russian, what will change if we say not I, but he? So let's write down the sentence with I. We have I, then the first verb, want, and then to sleep. What will change if we say not I, but he? Yeah, you're right. He wants to sleep. So the first verb, if we have to, we will change he, she, it forms. If you want to say that you did it yesterday, how to say? I wanted to sleep yesterday. So we change the first verb. And in fact, that is the same as in Russian. But in English, there is another problem. In English, sometimes we can use not to, like infinitive in Russian, but ing. And there is no logics at all. After won't, we use to, but after, for example, like, who doesn't like sleeping? I like, we use not to, but ing form, ing. I like sleeping. Why? There is no explanation. So just there are some verbs after which we use infinitives. For example, after won't, we use an infinitive, and some verbs after which we use gerund. There is no explanation. Yeah, that is the first moment which we meet without any explanation, just you need to remember. And then as a result, we draw a table somewhere in their notebooks. It's better to do it somewhere at the end of the notebook. We write two columns, after which verbs we use ing, and after which verbs we use the infinitives. One more moment which is important to remind. So plus ing and plus to plus verb. Everything depends on this verb. We put to or ing, not to these verbs, but to the verbs after them. For example, here we have like. So like we change into different forms. I like, he likes, when I was a child, I liked, and after these verbs, we use the next verb after like, we use with ing form. Here we put want. Want we cannot, we change it to different forms, and after want the verb we use with to. So that is important to practice, that is important to understand. Ing and to, it's not the forms of these verbs, it's the forms of the verbs which go after. So now we know that there are two variants of constructions when we have two verbs together. Of course, there is the third variant when we use infinitive without to. Here, it depends on the group. Sometimes I tell about it, sometimes not. So that, for example, if we have two verbs and the first is can, after can we use sleep, but without to. After modal verbs, we use, that is the third category, because after modal verbs, we use infinitives, but without bare infinitives. So we have three constructions, we have three variants. The first one, when we use to. The second variant, when we use ing. And the third variant, when we use our infinitive, but without to. So three variants of constructions. Yes, in Russian, we have only one. And here, the only thing you can do is to remember. Let's go on. And here you can see I tried to make the lists full because there are a lot of different irregular situations. For example, when we have need plus ing and plus to, but the meaning is different. So here I tried to put the verbs, maximum verbs, after which we use gerund and after which we use infinitives. So you can use this table. Of course, you can add there some more verbs if you ever find them. You can make some notes with some of the verbs here if you find some differences, and after some verbs we can use, for instance, two variants, but I tried to not to include them here. Maybe I missed something. For example, need and mean, I put here to infinitive column, but, and today we will talk about it, we can use them with with gerunds as well. So, but the meaning will be different. We'll talk about it a bit later. So there are two big groups, verbs with gerunds and verbs with infinitives. As you get, I guess, looking at these verbs, this part is already not for elementary students. So, and here we'll start talking about different unusual situations, different moments, some irregular variants and some exceptions. Let's start. So the list of verbs you can see. Let's go on. Generally speaking, we can use gerund and infinitive, of course, not only after verbs, which we have just discussed. Also, we can use gerund after prepositions. Remember, for example, I'm thinking about, what can we use after preposition? A noun. In English, gerund are the closest variant to our nouns, so that's why after prepositions in English, we can use either a noun or a gerund. So, I'm thinking about holiday, or I'm thinking holidays, or I'm thinking about going on holiday. So think about preposition plus ing. When we use gerund, when we use a verb as a subject, and yeah, there are some variants where we can use infinitives, because your students, you can quite often meet the variants where the sentence starts with to and it's a subject. But that is still less common than gerund form. So, for example, smoking is bad for you. So, smoking is a subject. So, we use ing form. We use ing form after go when we speak about some activities. For example, Go shopping, go swimming, go dancing, and so on. And usually when we have some signs and you can meet the variants with no. No trespassing, no smoking, no walking on the grass. So we have no plus ing. Infinitives. We use infinitives after adjectives. He's interesting to talk to. We use infinitives sometimes after nouns in the same situations. After indefinite pronouns, for example, I have something to tell you. Words are, I don't know what to do. And when we explain the reason, the purpose, why we want to do something. Here, that is quite a common mistake made by us, by Russian people. We say, uh, for doing something. And after preposition, we use ing. But in English, in the majority of situations, you can use for and a gerund or for and a noun. But there are too many controversial situations. So that's why I usually recommend all my students to use infinitive. So he went to the shop to buy some bread. People go to the library, used to go to the library to read books. When we explain the reason, when we answer the question why, what for, we use infinitive. These are the most common situations, positions where we use either a gerund or an infinitive. And now we are coming to some irregular moments. And the first one is hate, like, love, and prefer. The difference is tiny, but it exists. Look at the variants. So we use like usually with ing, as I did in the example at the beginning of this video. Like love, we use with our ing when we want to say that we really adore doing something. I love cooking. I like sleeping. I like going to theaters. When we use like or love with an infinitive, it usually means that I think that it is a good idea or it is my habit. I like to drink juice in the morning and tea at lunchtime. It's a very strange thing that you adore most of all, but you think that it's a good idea and you're talking about your habit. Like plus to is a habit or a good idea. Like love plus ing, it's the process that you really enjoy. Hate. Look, I hate to be the only person to disagree. I hate to be the only person to disagree. We speak more about the result here. I would prefer not to be in that situation. And when we say hate doing, that is opposite of love, or so I have no enjoyment of it. I hate cleaning my room. She hates cleaning her room. Prefer to. We prefer to drive during the day whenever we can. So we speak more about the result or probably the habit. Our we don't necessarily enjoy the process, but believe me, I drive sometimes for long distances, and I can say that during the day it's much easier. So I prefer to drive during the day if we speak about highways. But if we say prefer doing, we mean that we really like the process, we enjoy the process. So you see that when we use these verbs with ing, we usually mean that we enjoy the process. When we use them with infinitives, we want to say that that is a good idea, that is our habit, that is something that we would like not to happen. So, but it's not about love. It's not about enjoyment. So, hate, like, love, and prefer, if we speak about in or to. Yeah, the difference is small, but it exists. Now I'm talking about British variant and about the British English. Because in American, for example, like doing and like to do, the difference almost has disappeared, has been eliminated, and it's almost the same. But in British, still the difference exists. So we are going on. And we're coming to my favorite topic, because usually students remember the difference only after about 3 years of telling about it every half a year. There are some verbs after which we can use ing or to, but there will be the difference in the meaning. Let's start with this table, and at first let's just look at these verbs. Stop. Stop and quit actually are from the same category. The meaning is the same and idea will be the same. What is the difference between stop smoking and stop to smoke? Here, Russian translation helps. Stop smoking, it means that you don't smoke anymore. Let me show myself here. So if you stop smoking, you give up smoking and you don't smoke anymore. Stop to smoke, for example, you were driving somewhere, smoking is bad. You were driving somewhere, you were tired, and you stopped, smoked, and continued driving. Here Russian translation helps. Stop smoking, бросить курить, stop to smoke, остановиться, remember infinitive, чтобы покурить. Again, smoking is bad. It's one more variant over gerund as a subject. So, with quit idea is the same. Remember, forget, and regret, they are from the same group of verbs. Idea will be the same. When we speak about future or present, we use infinitive. When we speak about past, we use gerund. To show the example, remember to buy some bread in the shop. And I remember visiting my grandparents when I was a child. Remember to buy, in Russian we usually say don't forget in general, not remember, but it's usually about future, about the same time. Remember to buy, не забудь купить. And remember to, forget to, and regret to, we use, when in Russian, we also use infinitives. Не забудь купить, забыл купить. Сожалею, что приходится покупать. When we use remember, forget, and regret with ing forms, we speak about past. And in Russian, we don't have a special construction here. In Russian, we have two clauses in this situation, the main and subordinate. So I remember visiting. In Russian, we say, I remember how I visited somebody. I forget I forget taking money from you. I forgot how I had taken money. I regret saying, I regret that I said it already. So in Russian, we cannot translate ing forms with these three verbs with just infinitive. We need one more sentence. So remember, forget, and regret. When we use infinitive, we use infinitive in Russian, and we speak about future or about the same time we are talking about. Remember, forget, and regret doing, we speak about past, and in Russian, we translate it with two sentences, not with one, not with infinitive. Go on. Mostly in Russian, we use go on with ing. Like, we would use go on with ing. Go on doing. It means, yeah, that is the most common variant. It means continue doing something. So we went on writing the test for all the lesson. So we did it all the lesson. We continued doing it. Go on to do, it's very difficult to remember and realize because we don't use it and there is no meaning. It means just and then. When we say went on to do, it's something like and then, for example, he did something. For example, he was okay. He watched a film and he went on to read a book. He changed an activity. In other words, and then he started reading a book. Go on doing, continue, go on to do, change an activity. Try. Try doing and try to do. Here, the difference is when we say try doing, we give a kind of advice. Try as an experiment. For example, if you feel tired in the morning, try going to bed earlier. Try it as an experiment. Try to do. It's do your best. Do everything that you can. Be strong. So I tried to go. I try to go to bed early every evening, but I fail. So I do my best, but I cannot do it. Try doing. Try as an experiment. Try to do your best, be strong, and do it. Mean doing and mean to do. For example, I didn't mean to offend you. I didn't want to offend you. Being a teacher means checking a lot of homework. Includes, involves, so means, yeah. So mean to, it's about want to, intend to, mean plus ing form, involves, includes, and need. Sometimes, by the way, want can be used like need. Not so often, but still theoretically it is possible. For example, I needed to have my car washed. My car needs washing. What is the difference? I need to have my car washed. It's a kind of active. Of course, grammatically they are both active, but active meaning is in the first sentence. My car needs washing. It has a kind of passive meaning. Of course, you can say my car needs to be washed. We can use passive infinitive. Yes, in this case, it will be okay as well. But if we use an active infinitive or an active gerund, the main difference is the meaning, active or passive. So to revise this, let's go to the next slide. And very fast, let's look at these verbs. Let's take the same verb. I will not waste your time and try in your head Try to remember the difference. The difference between two sentences. I need to wash my car. My car needs washing. So active and passive. Remember, please remember to buy something in the shop. Don't forget. I remember visiting my grandparents when I was a child. I remember how I visited them. I forgot to buy any bread. I didn't do it at the same time. I forgot visiting my grandparents last month. I don't remember about this fact. I regret to tell you that you are fired. So I'm sorry to tell you about it. I regret telling her this news. I regret that I told her about it. Go on. We went on right we went we wrote the test and then we went to watch some video, and then we did it. We changed the activity. We went on watching the series all the night. We continued. Try. I tried to open the door, but it didn't work. Okay, but I couldn't. So I did my best, but I couldn't. Or try not eating at night if you want to feel better. Try it as an experiment. I didn't mean to offend you. I didn't intend to do it. Being a doctor means working long hours. It includes, it involves, it means. Stop. Stop. We stopped to, drink some coffee. We were driving. We were tired. We wanted to sleep. So we stopped, drank some coffee, and continued driving. I stopped drinking coffee. So I don't drink coffee anymore. With quit, idea is absolutely the same as with stop. Stop to do, stop why, stop doing, don't do it anymore. So there is the main difference. Hope you got the idea, because now we are coming to the exercises. Look at the exercise. In our usual way, if you want to do the task, stop the video, choose the correct variant, and continue. Welcome back. Hope that your variants are the same. And before we continue, I want to stop your attention, to draw your attention to the variance number 4, 5, and that's it. We didn't discuss these words a minute ago. No, we didn't. We are going to do it right now. Remember about these two variants, and we will come back to them. Are verbs of senses. Here they are important, and just one moment, which I would like to mention that in this variant, to enter is impossible at all. Here, both variants in number 5, both variants are more or less okay. Why? Wait a second. We are going on. Some verbs can follow by a gerund or by bare infinitives. Usually, these are the verbs of senses. Hear, see, notice, and so on. Look, the main difference is we use gerund when we want to underline that the action was in the process. For example, she heard people shouting. So they were in the process of shouting and she heard them. A police officer saw him running. The police officer saw how he was running. In fact, it's a kind of past continuous, usually past, but in general, it's a kind of continuous. So the action was in the process, and somebody saw, heard, noticed, and so on, this action. When we use bare infinitive, not infinitive, we use it without to after these verbs, we want to underline that we saw, heard the action as a whole. We saw the action from the beginning till the end, completed action. So I heard someone shout. So like help in the process is a very strange idea because the word is short. Or Emily saw Philip run out of the office. It can be, and that's why in general, usually in the majority of the situations we can use both these variants. Just it depends on what we want to underline. So see somebody doing, we mean the progress. See somebody do, we mean the action, the full action. For example, I saw her performing a concert. I saw when I came, she was in the process. I watched for some minutes and I had to go. I saw her perform the concert. I saw the concert from the beginning till the end. That is the difference between these two variants. Now, remember our examples and two sentences, which I on purpose didn't explain here. So number 4, we can use infinitive without to, but we cannot use it with to. And number 5, we can use both variants. Just ing means the process, wash means the whole action. Let's go on. Some verbs, they are on the screen. Some verbs we can use without any difference in the meaning. Usually we remember begin, start, but you see that prefer, I told at the beginning about prefer, like, love, they have, and hate, they have this tiny difference. As for other verbs, there is almost no difference. Usually, if we speak about these verbs, I pay attention to the following verbs. So I give begin, I mention continue, then start, and prefer. So I mostly give these 4 verbs, but prefer already you know the difference. So that's why begin, continue, and start are the most common. After others, it's better to use this or that form. Still, that is their, it's not my idea. That is their page from grammar reference book. And we can use both according to the grammar reference book. I can't stand to see, I can't stand see. Yeah, surprise, because usually in the majority of books, we can see can stand plus ing. No, we can use it with an infinitive as well. Usually we avoid putting 2 infinitives one by one. So if we use the verb with ing, The next with ing is grammatically correct, but not very used, not used a lot. So, and that's why if we have ing, usually we use then infinitive. For example, it was starting. Yeah, we can say raining, but usually people say to rain because starting with ing form already. So these verbs almost or without any difference in the meaning. And the last portion, we are coming to the end. 3 verbs: let, make, and help. If we speak about infinitives, and these are those forms. Let. Let can be used with an object. We all, the majority of people remember about it. We use let with an object without with an infinitive, without to, with a bare infinitive. Let my people go. But we can do it only in an active voice. If we change, we cannot change let into passive. So we can use let only in an active voice. So that's why we use let always with the construction let subject and let object, sorry, and infinitive without to. Let my people go. Remember this song. If you don't remember, Google it. The song is nice. Make. Make idea is the same. Just their idea is the same in terms of grammar because make my people go. Yeah, there is a difference. So after make, we use an object and we use a bare infinitive. They made us wait, for example. But here we have a passive variant, and in a passive variant, we use make with to. We were made to wait. You see the difference? Make somebody do something without to. Somebody was made to do something with to. And help. Help, it's a kind of modal verb, but which doesn't know about it. In the Italian language, for example, help is a modal verb. But in English, it hasn't finished its career, and but maybe because of this fact, after help we can use an infinitive without to or with to. So they help us to do homework, and they help us do homework. Both variants are okay. There is no difference at all. Just in the variant with to, help works as a normal verb. Help without to, it acts as a modal verb. But of course, help is not a modal verb in the English language, but the behavior is like this. So that's why if you want to underline that you know this, you can use help somebody do something. Or, as one of my students told not long time ago, when she used the sentence like, they help us do something, and her groupmate corrected her, like, help somebody to do something. I told that both variants are okay. She said, I knew. She made a mistake, in fact, but that was not a mistake. It turned out the correct variant. So that is about let, make, and help. For today, that's it. Here, there is very little logics. There are too many irregular variants. So that's why the more exercises you do here, the better. If you need any extra tasks, if you need any extra exercises, you are always welcome. So for today, that's it. Enjoy the English and remember that English can be a way of life. Bye-bye.